Welcome to the Planet Rocc podcast. Hopefully we're able to spark thought on something new or rekindle thought on a forgotten subject. How you doing, family? Today's topic is about an article entitled When I Was a Child. The author is yours truly, Ron Jones. When you first hear the title, the first thing that pops into mind is the religious text. And one could say that it's based off of that religious text, the article that is. However, the truth of the matter is, it's based in what's the here and now and the truth. Right? So the religious text says, when that which is perfect is come, that which is imperfect shall pass away. When I was a child, I spake and understood and thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. I heard Minister T.D. Jakes say that passage or verse doesn't mean that once you become an adult, you never do anything childish. It means that you know when to let the child out and when to put the child up and act as an adult. So although every podcast won't be about an article that I've written, some will. A lot of the articles you're going to have to read for yourself, but this one I feel is pretty important. So here we go. The title of this article, When I Was a Child, speaks to what we did as children. What we did as children, meaning how we learned, how our bodies worked, what made us act, our resiliency, the excitement of things to come, the wonder of new discoveries, etc. My intent is to spark thought. Look at this as a workout. It's going to be informative and uncomfortable, but you'll come out on the other end with a better understanding of the truth. Now, what you do with that truth is on you. In our first 7 years or so of life, we are intakers and uploaders of information on a scale that is exponentially more efficient than that of our adult learning. We learn a language or two or three in a few years. We learn to walk, run, jump. We learn about our families. We learn love. We learn about friendship. All these things. We also learn not so positive things like fear, doubt, prejudice, bigotry, limits. Although, some limits are needed in some cases, but you understand what I'm saying. There can be too many limits placed on people. So in basic, everyone who encounters a child's life has the potential to be an influence, and the child doesn't have the mental capacity to know what influence is right and what influence is wrong for the most part, so they just soak it all up. They are largely dependent on the main contributors, traditionally mom and dad, to help separate right from wrong information. More specifically, their learning or their being happens in a cause and effect type of way. Because someone tells them something, they feel whatever way they are told to feel about it. They follow the leader and do as they are told, as children should do. They mimic what they see and hear. Now, after these first few years have passed, they then begin to slowly develop their own thoughts. Of course, these thoughts are mostly the collective thoughts of them and their peers. At this stage in their life, they don't identify with the fact that they're learning in the same way they did as toddlers. They're still in the follow the leader mode, but on the worst plane at this point, because at this stage, they're following the follower. Right? If you don't believe me, go to a high school and start asking the average kid questions. Now, hold on to that thought and let's switch gears. The child's physical body, up until around 17 to 19 years of age for girls and 22 to 24 for boys on average, these bodies grow and perform at a rate that exceeds any adult natural physical gain possible. Kids eat all day, they're on the go all day, they use the restroom all day, and they sleep as though they're dead. Now, it's during these rest periods that most of the growth and healing occurs, so keep that in mind. These actions are needed to keep those physical bodies working the way they were intended to work. Ironically, if we adults exercise, ate the proper foods, and drank proper amounts of water on a more timely and intentional schedule, emphasis on intentional, we would find that our bodies would behave and appear younger than our years. The rate at which a child's body heals and adapts is amazing. Same could hold true for the adult if only we would properly fuel and use our bodies. Starting to hit home yet? If not, hang on. Let's bring some things together. It's from the adults that kids learn what to eat, what to think about groups of others that they have never encountered, how to be afraid of something they've never experienced, and the like. We adults teach kids cliche phrases like, that's just good soul food, it's good for you. No, we can't do that. We're from the South. We act like this. It's okay to have a big belly. Our family is big boned. Now, to the logical mind, these things don't sound right. They don't even feel right when you hear them. We know inside of us we're supposed to be teaching our kids about boundless possibilities, how to best take care of themselves, etc., etc. So why do we do these things? We teach our kids these things and more because even as adults, we still haven't come to the realization that most of us exist in a cause and effect mode of reality. Meaning it's our environment, or we believe it's our environment or external forces that rule us versus us, the adults taking control and causing the effect we want to experience. We're not realizing we are in the same adolescent mode of following the follower. And that's dangerous. And if you don't think so, see if some of this rings a bell. Letting the emotions and perceptions of our past rule the possibilities of today and our future. We choose to not even attempt to try to take action on bettering ourselves spiritually, mentally, physically, socially, nor financially for fear of looking dumb by someone else. We basically sit and wallow in the coward's pool of conformity, secretly hoping for someone to save us. If this is not you, there is someone you have in mind that fits this mold. Statistically, there has to be someone you know that fits this mold. If for no other reason, 70+% of the American population is clinically obese. Now, the American population did not learn and continue to exacerbate the obesity epidemic by searching within themselves for an answer, studying, finding help, and putting into action a plan to accomplish the worthwhile goal of living a healthy lifestyle. Roughly 210 million people on the same continent being clinically obese only happens by complacently following the follower. Following the person in front of you to whatever destination the convoy decides for that day. Following what you learned as a child as blindly today as you did when you were a child. Here are some starting points for remedy. Mind you, the remedy happens from inside out and saves not only you, but those who depend on and love you. First, take an honest look at yourself and decide what you want to do, meaning what is healthy for you. You may have to do some research or speak with health and fitness professionals to decide what is a healthy goal for you right now. Mind you, the journey doesn't stop with reaching one goal, but for this initial goal, you may need some help and you may continue to need help. Next, take an objective look at yourself and your situation and ask if you want what you see for those who depend upon and love you. If the answer is no, or you want better, it's time to start walking a better path. Again, you may have to find help, but remember, it is you who is driving and setting a destination on this trip. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be popular. And you may have to release some acquaintances and release some habits because of the change in your energy, but that's okay. Greenery sheds its leaves to grow beautiful shades during the next season. You're going to do the same, but be warned. You're going to have to work at it and practice these new thoughts and actions often. If you allow it, you will find that you will gravitate to and meet people who are walking a common path. You'll begin to be able to identify them because your subconscious will look for these traits and draw you to them. You must remain on a continuous path of learning towards whatever it is you have deemed as a worthy pursuit. As soon as you open your spirit and mind to all things are possible, set goals with that fact embedded within you, and take action, you are successful. At that moment, when you take that first step, you are successful. You have at that point ceased to act as you did when you were a child and stood up as the adult who recognizes they have the power to do anything imaginable. It has been said that it is better to be a candle in the darkness than a cry in the night. So let your light shine by turning on the switch. I'm on that path myself and would love to walk with you. Let's go. Let's go. That concludes the Planet Rocc podcast topic for today. Should you have questions or comments, please either send an email to comments@planetrocc.us, click the Ask the Trainer button, or give us a call at 877-776-2290. Thank you.